Welcome, everybody. It is another Friday night. I'm on a little earlier. Peter is taking a hiatus, so I decided to kind of swoop into his time spot. So I'm hoping everybody kind of catches up with me. Uh, Not used to coming on this early, but I was able to get everything done in time, and I thought, why not? Uh, no sense in just sitting around for an hour and a half, so we'll just try to go ahead and jump right in there and see how it goes. So it's been a busy week. I want your all's opinion. I worked. This is what I've been doing today, is trying to get this ready for tonight. So I want everybody's kind of opinion on how this looks. I did move into the other room. This one is a whole lot bigger. So I spend most of my time basically in my office, and all I do in my bedroom is really sleep. So I moved the bed into the little room and moved all the computer gear and everything in here. And if any one of you have ever taken apart your computer and had to reset it back up, and there's quite a bit to moving everything. It takes a minute. Yeah. So, but labor of love. So, what do y'all think of this background? I'm kind of, it's something different. I'm kind of liking it. But, and Jeff made it the first one in here. Way to go, Jeff. Saying good day. Good day, Jeff. It all looks fabulous. Well, thank you very much, sir. It was... So I found a system where I can hang my backpacks in a closet, and it worked fantastic. And then somebody, when I was talking to them about my woes as far as I don't know what to do for the backdrop, they're like, well, just put all the backpacks on the wall. That'll look cool. So there we have it. It's kind of a mishmash of this, that, and the other. So Scott says, how about some hot fudge ice cream cake? Ooh, yeah. Line up and take all you want. Yeah, that sounds excellent. I just finished dinner a little bit ago, so I'm ready for dessert, right? And hot fudge ice cream cake sounds amazing. Really amazing. So, yeah, it's been kind of a busy week. This week coming up is going to be extremely busy. I'm covering for a guy's vacation. So, but once I finish that, I get 10 days off. So I'm hugely looking forward to that. And I didn't even check my sound levels, but they look okay. So huge shout out to Lewis for getting my border back. Some of this stuff, it doesn't look like it's quite even. I don't know if I can even it up. No. Is that better? A little bit? Looks a little better on this end. So, well, no, now it's not. It's too far that way. So maybe I can't even it up. I don't know. But huge shout out to Lewis for at least getting the border back up, right? Because for some reason, now not when I changed rooms just today, but before, when I moved the whole computer, sometimes I lose my border, sometimes it's there. It's like the computer has a mind of its own, which it actually really kind of does. So I'm just a pawn. Yeah, the computer does what it wants, and I just kind of hold my breath and follow along. And but I got the other computer set up for little man because I had him today. So it was a busy day between wrestling with a 4-year-old and granny this and granny that, and trying to get this done. So big shout out to my daughter. She came over and helped with these lights. And my son came over and helped with the backpacks. And huge shout out to Ashlyn, who took time out of her busy day to give us the suggestion to do all this. So yeah, there was a lot of people involved in this. I'm not very creative. I'm very mechanical, but I'm not very creative. So I reach out to those that are, and they help me immensely. Ooh, Scott says my new Mac Mini M2 arrived today. Fantastic. I think you'll like it. Uh, I'm a PC girl from way, way back, and the Mac is like opposites day because nothing is in the same place as my Windows. And, I've gone through, I hate to date myself, but I've gone through like Windows XP and Windows, there have been so many of them. Um, and I think I'm on Windows 10 now, if I remember right. Uh, but Mac has their own updates. They just call them different things. Like, I don't know, Sonoma, I think was one of them. But they update also, they just call it different things. So Windows pretty much uses a numbering system, but example, the Windows to X out of a program, the X is up on the right hand corner. Well, on the Mac, it's on the left hand corner. So just little things like that make you think. And my son is like, he thinks I'm the only person that has both operating systems on one desk. Well, they both serve different purposes. So the PC is when I want to relax and just kind of maybe watch YouTube or surf the web or whatever. But it's for me, because I've been doing it so long, I know where everything is, so I don't have to think. With the Mac, I've only been using a Mac for 3 years, so I still have to think about how to, as Doc Rock says, how to embiggen the window and how to close something out, and it doesn't come natural, so I still have to think about it. So, but I think you'll really, really enjoy the Mac, Scott. I do. It makes editing so much easier. Why they don't come out with an eCam for PC, I don't know, but they don't. So it just makes everything so much easier. So, Scott, are you planning on doing some live streaming? What prompted you to get a Mac? The inquiring minds want to know. He says, I've only had PCs so far. Yeah, I'm a PC girl from way back, like 1986, I think. I started with Windows 3.0. Yeah, we're a bunch of old timers here that, and the Mac is it does an amazing amount of stuff, but it is limited in its memory. So I have, I don't know, 3 external portable hard drives, and then I have the Hagibis hub that has a 1 terabyte M something chip thing in it. And so rarely do I run off anything on the max memory. So like eCam is on that 1 terabyte thing in the Hagibis. That's what I'm running on right now. So that's the only thing about the Mac is you can't expand the memory yourself. With the PC, if I want more memory, I just take a card out, open the side of the case, take a card out, put it back in, and you're good to go. So it's a little more complex than dealing with a PC, but it can be done. It's very doable. So I think in essence I have I know I have 1 terabyte in the Hagibis that runs off here, but then I back everything up to an external to keep it, because I only have, I think it's 256 is the memory, I think. I could be, it's been 3 years. So Scott says it's kind of like a Chevy, then switch to a Toyota. Windshield wipers are on the opposite side of the column. Yes, everything is, it's like backwards day. Scott says I need to order that SSD space. Yeah, the one I use is the Hagibus, which Louis Vega uh, recommended, and it's the exact same size and same color as the Mac Mini. It just it mine is sitting underneath it, but it gives you more ports on the outside, and then it has an internal drive spot that you can put memory in, and it just hooks up with a lightning cable from one to the other. And my cable's about that long because they just sit on top of each other. My son thought it was all one piece because it honestly it's the same finish. It looks exactly like the Mac Mini, so he thought it was all one unit. And then I think I did a live stream at his house, and I'm taking everything apart, and he's like, that's not all one computer." And I'm like, "No, it's a hub." So, but it all looks the same. So, and they were not expensive. So, I highly recommend it. I've never had any problems with it, and I've had it. I think I got it really soon after I got the Mac Mini, and I've never had a bit of problem with it. So Scott says, "Oh, you have that cool setup. How do you spell the name of that?" Um, I think it's Hagibus. It's either BUS or BIS. I'm not sure. Um, and uh, I was watching a guy the other day, and he did where he dropped a link uh, while he was on the air. So I think I can do that. Maybe. Um, Haga, Hagibus? Uh, yeah, I think that's it. Yes. Okay. Now how do I do this? I'll figure this out. Where'd it go? Okay, maybe I should not do that. It's giving me all kinds of error messages. Um, I don't know why. And it was BUS. Okay. So, where'd you go? There you go. All right, let me try to drop this again. Um, it will not let me. Okay, so I don't know. It keeps giving me an error message. But anyway, it is Hagibus, and I think it said it was like $109 or something. So, not terribly expensive, but it is definitely worth it. I don't know how much memory you got, but now the M2 chip, I have that in my laptop, and they're both so stupid fast that, but for some reason, and I don't want to do too much because I don't want the live stream to be corrupted. So, um, yeah, but apparently I'm getting close to being full on my memory. So I need to go through and dump some files over to the external hard drive. So I haven't been really making a lot of videos lately, but normally after I make a video, I immediately dump it to the external, so it's not taking up space on the Mac Mini. But I thought I had another one too. Maybe it's just the externals. But yeah, it's a lifesaver. And there's the man of the hour we're just talking about. Hello, Mr. Camera Junkie. We were talking about that Hagibus hub. Scott just got a new Mac Mini. So I love, 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 love my Hagibus hub, and the the capabilities to add external memory in that. I have the external portable hard drives, but I like working off the one in the Hagibus. So Lewis is loving the bag wall. So yeah, this is what I did today. um, we got kind of took a poll and made some phone calls from people that are creative and uh, have a good fashion sense, and they all kind of said, "Put the bags up. Put the bags up. Backpacks look cool. Put the bags up." So that's what we did. So yeah, this was my daughter came over and helped with the lights, and my son came over and helped with the bags. So it was definitely a family event. And little man was here as well, putting his 2 cents in. And he's very opinionated. And you ask him, "What do you think about this? Do you like this?" And he's like, "No, I don't like that." "Well, why don't you like that?" "I don't know. I just don't like that." So he's not articulate yet. He can't really tell you why he doesn't like something, but that little kid's got a pretty good sense of style. So I kind of trust his judgment, and so we kind of arranged it how he did have a say in it. So, and a huge shout out again to Ashlyn because she FaceTimed us and was like, "Well, you need to put this here and put this here." And so the only thing I'm not thrilled with is I think, yes, this box over here, that actually has camera gear in it, but you can't see it. So I don't know how to brighten that up. Um, I may put some kind of little strip lights or something in there that are battery operated to kind of shine light on that, because that's, yeah, you can't even tell that's camera stuff. So it is what it is. Just so Sly, have you ever used the PGY Tech, I think it's called backpack, and if so, your thought on it? Going to Melbourne in October, so needing a new bag. So yes, I have. It's not up here. Um, I have the PGY Tech One Mo Light, I believe is what it's called. It's either the One More Mo Light or One Mo Go. I can't remember, but uh, it is a ginormous bag, way too big for anything I need. So I think when I got it, it hung on the wall for a long time. I think Jim Monday got one. And for me, it's just the thing is very wide, like depth wise. So you can turn your cameras on their side. Plenty of room. I want to say it's like 7, 8, 9 inches. It's really wide. It's really deep, right? And so for me, when I put something on that deep, it tends to make me want to go backwards. And so I prefer 4 to 5 inches, and it's a great bag. It's built for stout, that's for sure. But and everything's well padded, and I mean it's a great bag. It's just too deep for me, and so I tended to not use it, and it's still, in fact, I still have, I know this sounds insane, but I still have bags hanging on the wall where I used to live. I have not fully moved yet, so I'm about 80% moved, I guess, but there's still like the kitchen stuff I haven't touched. I haven't really moved a lot of stuff from my bedroom, and there's still some stuff in the office, and the PGY Tech bag is one of them that's still up there. So my hiking backpacks are still up there. There's I think 3 or 4 camera bags still up there. So interestingly enough, I think only 1 or 2 of these are actually camera bags. They're just plain old backpacks. So I do have a lot, too many, of camera bags, but I think only I'm trying to think. I think only one of them made it up there because they're bigger and bulkier. So yeah, it is what it is. Um, I brought in all these backpacks, and I told my son, now I can get more if we need them. And he's like, oh, I have no doubt. They know me so well. So yes, Jeff, to answer your question, the PGY Tech bag is fantastic. And I think I wish I could tell you if I have the Go or the Light. Um, and I think I have the smaller of the two. It's supposed to be like a 20 liter. Um, man, I bought that like 2 years ago, but yeah, I would send it to you if you weren't so far away. Uh, the shipping would be ridiculous, but it's the smaller one. It's like the 20 liter, and it's still huge. So, but you can't go wrong with it. Uh, Lewis says, looks great. Thank you. Thank you very much. And there's Miss Evelyn. How are you? Good evening. I kind of stole Peter's spot because he's on hiatus. So I did ask first, just so you know. Jeff says, can it go on the plane as a carry-on? I think, Jeff, it can go on the plane as a personal item, depending on who you're flying. Now, I understand that in Europe, they're a lot stricter than they are here, and your personal item can only be, not much bigger than a baggie. But here, it would qualify, I think, as a personal item. So yes, absolutely, it can be a carry-on. Um, I think, and don't get me, somebody is going to have to fact check me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but I think carry-on is 22 by 16 by 10, I think. And it definitely fits within those guidelines. So, yes. Now, it's more structured, so it's not like my Vanguard bags are kind of squishy. And so if you had to kind of like scoot something over, it's got a little squishy room. The PGY Tech does not. It's more of a structured bag. So Jeff says, I will be driving around Melbourne and wanting to take two camera bodies, 70 to 200 lens, speedlight, mic, filters. It'll fit all of it. It's an extremely large bag. So, and with the filters and the mic and stuff, you can actually, uh, because it's so deep, you can actually stack. So you can get a ton of stuff. I think I took it to my son's when I lost internet and I had to run up to Tulsa to do a live stream. I think I took that one time, and it held the computer and cameras. And at the time, I think I was using two cameras. Obviously, I didn't get the overhead set up, but and it held everything with room to spare. So yes, I wouldn't even hesitate. And there's Shane. Hey everyone. How are you, sir? Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, I always forget about the thumbs up thing, so thank you for reminding everybody. Um, so this is kind of, it's always exciting when you move and you get to set up a new place and what have you. And I really do try to learn from you guys who have way more experience than me. So, um, I have a bar going. It's a pressure bar that spans the whole room, right? Goes all the way across. And so it's actually really kind of cool because I can mount my overhead camera on it and bring it down to where I don't need a ladder to turn it on and off. Now, I've been having some trouble with it's a Sony ZV-1, and I've been having some trouble with it getting power. And I think, I'm not 100% sure because I took the dummy battery out and I put a regular battery in it, and it worked just fine. If you twist the thing, it comes on, but then if you bump it a little bit, it turns off. So I think it's probably the dummy battery is not making a real secure connection. So I may just, for now, tape it up. But I got a small rig magic arm thing that articulates in like 4 different places. And so you can adjust that exactly where you want it. And then I got a desk mount. I don't want to call it's a desk mount camera mount. I don't want to call it a tripod because it doesn't have any feet, but it just clamps on the side of the desk and then you mount the camera to it. And so you don't have a lot of stuff on the floor. And the only other thing that I need to get like up is the microphone. I'm still using a microphone stand, but I ran out of time. So it was like, yeah, it can wait till next week. Um, so yeah, I have been really, the main goal today early was to get the PC up and running so little man he could watch YouTube or play his games or whatever he wanted to do while I focused on this. And then then after we got all that accomplished, then it was, let's get the Mac hooked up as quick as we can so we can go live, right? So um, cable management is non-existent at this point. That will be fixed next week as well. So right now it's just it looks awful, right? I'm almost ashamed to let anybody in here because I've got cables upon my cables upon my cables, and it yeah. But you know, even moving just like I was on the other side of this wall right here, right? Just moving that short distance, having to take everything apart, plug everything back up, it's a thing, right? It's an adventure for sure. So I had everything nice and neat in there, and it hadn't happened in here yet. It will. It will. Shane says, those mounts are okay as long as you don't bump the desk. Ah. Well. Oh, you're right. I saw a little flicker there. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, I could kind of see that. And I may go back to the tripod. It's just nice having options, right? I had ordered this, which does not come with this. I have so many little pieces and parts, and I kind of make my own stuff. But this little, which way is it? This way. This Ulanzi clamp, and it's fantastic, but it doesn't. It just has this, and the bar has to be up so high because across the room is a sliding glass door. There's not a wall there. So I have to have it above the sliding glass door, which is too tall for Shrimpo here. So, and although I don't mind getting on a ladder, it's kind of a pain in the neck every time you want to turn the camera on or off. So, with the small rig, it articulates in 4 different places, and I can bring it down to where even I can reach it. So, I do feel like a pixie at times. Shane said, I tried a desk mount. I am way too clumsy for it. Well, so far, it seems to be a good thing because it just kind of is sitting there kind of out of the way. And so we'll see. The jury's not out. This is first night I've used it. So we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go well, I'll go back to a tripod. But it's just really nice having everything up off the floor. And the wall in front of me is still probably another 10 feet away in front of me. So, but there is a doorway in between, and I didn't want to get I do have a 4-year-old running around. And so I'm trying to keep it as, because he does like to run. And I'm trying to keep as much up off the floor as I can. And this bar going across is absolutely fantastic. I love that thing. Jeff said, I wanted to ask you first before shelling out $3.99 Australian. Wow. And I value your opinion as you have so many bags. Sly, you're missing the think tank on the wall. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I think I have most. No, I don't. Because I don't have very many camera bags up there. So I started to say, I think I have most of the bags companies represented, but I don't. There's Alpaca, Wandered, Fjallraven, Deuter. There's a lot. Belroy. But as far as camera bags, I think there's only one camera bag up there, and it's the Wandered Duo. So the Wandered Provoke, the way the handles are, when you try to mount it on a wall, it kicks it out because it's like a tote bag handle type thing. And so if you try to mount it, the bottom of the bag kind of kicks out from the wall. So there are some bags that are not up there, and well, there's a lot. There's a lot of bags that aren't up there. I have way too many bags. I'm picking that up. I don't have any hiking bags up here. These are almost exclusively day bags. There are a couple of CCW bags up here, but they're almost exclusively day bags. So, which, Jeff, you might look at, man, I wish you were closer. You might look at a company called Hex. Their backloader, I don't think it's as expensive as the PGY Tech, but it's a different look. I have made a video on the Hex backloader. I think it was Christmas before last, so about 1.5 years ago. Super nice bag, super well padded. It's got to be close to the same size, but it's not as deep this way. So, I mean, as far as liters go, it's probably close to the same size liter wise, but it's got a little bit bigger footprint because it's not as deep. So it just kind of depends on, but that is kind of on the pricey side. But I don't know. I didn't pay anywhere near that for mine. So mine must be the light. Man, I wish it was here. I would sure go get it and look at it. Shane says, if it works, great. It's really handy. Nice stuff. Yeah. If we'll see. I mean, I'm willing to try anything once. And they say don't try something new on a live, but I just moved in here in this room today, so you kind of got to try stuff, right? So yeah, why not try it on the live? And there's Roy. Good day, Sly. Good day, Roy. I just love how y'all say that. Charles says, hi, Sly, and everyone here. Hello, Charles. How are you? Roy says, Aussie dollars are 50% more than in the U.S. Wow. Wow. That's a huge difference. I think the British pound is close to the dollar. I think. It kind of fluctuates, but I think the pound is worth more right now than the dollar. I think. But I could be completely mistaken. But 50%, wow. So that means that bag right here would cost $200. That sounds about right. So there have to be, I know there are, bag manufacturers in Australia. I've seen them. I just can't think of who they are right now. And like Vanguard makes bags for different markets. So they had somebody that I follow was reviewing a Vanguard bag, and I loved it. It's not available in the U.S. So to get one, because I have friends I have friends in England and other places, and to get one, to have them buy one and then ship it here, the shipping was just stupid. So I guess they kind of don't want you to do that, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, of course, I mean, Australia is on the other side of the world, so I get it, but still, that's a lot of money, and it's probably some of the is shipping to get it over to you. So, but I think Australia makes. I think there's a bag company based out of Australia. So obviously they would be, cheaper because you're not having to pay to ship it. So, and they're not that big. You would think, a box like so would not cause a kerfuffle in shipping, but they sure. I shipped a scarf and a Christmas ornament to England, and it was $40. It was a scarf. It didn't weigh anything, and a Christmas ornament, $40. Yeah. So I have no idea what a backpack would cost to ship, but I'm sure it would be ridiculous. Yeah. So, but I do have the other camera up there. I'm having power issues with it, and in the move, I've lost one of my M6s. So I'm sure it's around here somewhere, but as of this very moment, I could not tell you where. Yeah, so I've lost that one in the G7X Mark III, and I think I ended up with everything else. So I'm missing 2 cameras, and those two I took to Las Vegas with me. So I'm thinking they're probably packed still somewhere. Would be my guess. So I did find the other M6, which still had the tripod mount on it. What do you guys call it? You call them something. I don't remember. There's a word, but all of my tripods are exactly the same, and so I just leave the mount on the camera, and that way I can just move it from tripod to tripod. But now that I'm not using a tripod with this camera, I had to take the mount off it, and so it's a little bit. I feel like the camera is leaning, and it looks to me. Now, it may not look that way on YouTube, but it looks to me like the wall is not flat. It kind of looks like it's skewed a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that because it's definitely flat. It's kind of like the earth is round. Yeah, I get it. Roy says, I wait to buy bags when I'm passing through Asia. Yes, that would be a fantastic time because a lot of them are made in Asia. So I would imagine they would be a lot cheaper. I'm actually looking at an able carry bag, and I think the reason they're so expensive is because of the shipping to ship them to the U.S. Roy says Arca Swiss or Manfrotto QR. The Arca Swiss. Yes. Thank you. I knew you'd know. Yeah, everything has that Arca Swiss mount, and so changing, I don't have to even think about, do I have the right tripod for, because they all are the same, and they all have the same mount, and it just simplifies my life a great deal. And I will get back to having the multiple cameras, although I didn't use it very often. I just kind of liked having it. just not this week and probably not next week. Who knows? Um, I am working 5 days this week, which normally I only work four. So, come Thursday, I plan on sleeping all day long. So, my job is very, very physical. And so, well, to give you an example, I did 13 and a half hours one day this week. I'm averaging 48 to 50 hours in 4 days. So, when my first day off, I pretty much just die and just sleep for 15 hours and then get up and do it again. So, uh, yeah, it's and usually I get Little Man on Thursday nights. So Hagibus has four versions of that dock, and they all look pretty much the same, 54 to 110. Well, I was able to pull it up. I just can't copy the link. I will tell you which one I got, but now I have the M1 Mac Mini, so maybe I don't know if the footprint is any different on the M2. I don't think it is, but it could be. Um, we'll try this again, and I will tell you. The one I got, it's right there. Um, with dual hard drive enclosure, Type C docking station for Mac Mini M2. Okay. Um, it's $109.99 with a 5% coupon. So you're looking at 104. Um, oh, okay. So yes, there are. Okay, hang on a minute. Well, now it's not saying you purchased this because it did say you purchased this before. Um, so the Pro HD versus the Pro. Let's see what the inexpensive one is. Okay. So that one does say it is for the M1. Really? Okay. The one for $54.99 looks very much like the one that I got. I mean, identical. 3 USB A's, the 2 card readers. Yeah. Well, so on mine, the port to the right of the card readers is a USB-C. That one looks like it's a USB-A. So it's not exactly that one. Let's see what this one is. Well, I know I didn't pay $220 for it. Let's put it that way. Okay, here we go. And it's got the 2 in the back. Okay, so it was the one that's $80. And that says it's for the Mac Mini M2. Okay. So the MC25 Pro is the one I have. And it's $80 and 5% coupon. So the $109 one, oh, it has more ports on the back. So it gives you 2 extra. Well, let me get this out of my way. Okay, stop it. Stop it. Okay. It gives you, it looks like an HDMI and a display port. And then 2 USB C's on the back, which mine has the 2 USB C's on the back, but it doesn't have a display port. So, and then the front looks the same. The 3. Now, one or two of those USB A ports on the front, I think one of them is a high speed. and then the other two are regular. But it looks like that's what the HD, you can actually plug two more monitors into it. So, Scott, I would just get the $79 one. That gives you, now, I say that, I have another hub, because the Mac will take two hubs. So I have the Hagibus that is the same footprint and everything as the Mac Mini. And then I have an OWC hub that gives me 3 Lightning, a USB, and another three Lightning and a USB. And that's off on the desk separate. So yeah. So you might want to get the more expensive one if you need the extra ports. But because I have the OWC, I didn't really need them. So you never have said what you're wanting to do with this. Why you got the Mac Mini? Has to be something to do with photography. Roy says the more expensive has a place for SSD inside. Well, I think the $79 one does too. Yes, it does. Because that's where, yeah, it's inside. Now, there's not actually, like, what they're showing in the picture is like the top of it, and then it's not actually two pieces like that. It's just one piece. So if I could, if I wasn't on that computer, I would take it apart and show it to you. But yeah, it's just one. It's like they're showing you two in the picture. They're showing you the top view and then the bottom view in one picture. So they're showing you two units. So, but you just get one of those. It's quite confusing. But yeah, 80, 79.99, plus a 5% coupon off. So 5%, $4. Yeah, not a huge savings, but definitely worth it. And it definitely adds to the workflow of the Mac. So I don't know. I don't know how you would actually, because the Mac only has, now mine, yours may have more, but it only has, I think, two Lightning, or I don't know if they're Lightning or USB-C, but it only has two ports on the back to plug extras into. So it doesn't have any, I don't think it has any USB A's. So yeah, I needed the expansion. Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro. Okay. Yeah, I think you're going to find that you need the expansion. I don't know how many ports the M2 has, but I think knowing Apple, you're still going to need expansion. So I would look into it. But other people make them as well, and they offer different configurations. So most, at the time that I bought it, most of my stuff was USB-A. Now it's kind of shifting over to the USB-C, which is why I got the OWC hub. It's got the 3 USB, I think they're Lightning, not Lightning. Am I saying that right? They look like USB-C, but I think they're called Lightning. Thunderbolt, that's what it is, Thunderbolt. It's got 3 Thunderbolt spots. So, because as we progress, things are going to the USB-C and getting away from the USB-A. So that's why I got the OWC. It gave me 3 more ports that were of the newer variety. So Scott says, I have the Strip Basic Mini. Well, so do I, which is why I use the 1 terabyte SSD. It's like, I want to say it's they call it an M.2, It's a little strip, and you just plug it right in there, put one screw in, you're done. And because I work off that instead of using the max internal memory. Now, the max internal memory runs the operating system, and it makes the computer run. But as far as for storage, and like Final Cut Pro takes a lot of memory, I run all that off of uh, the M.2 that's in the Hagibus. So I'm not constantly having to switch out drives or whatever. I just use the 1 terabyte, and so far I've got plenty of space. So yes, M.2. Yeah. So Roy says, lately Apple has been giving us less ports than in Ohio. Yeah, exactly. Uh, that's kind of what I figured, that even though the M2 is newer, you would think, and that's a standard complaint with everybody. They love the Apple products, but they don't really set it up for peripherals. So uh, even when I travel and I have my laptop, I still have a mini uh, OWC hub that plugs into the laptop that I can plug the microphone and the camera and stuff into. So even the laptop doesn't have enough ports, which, coming from a PC world, it is truly laughable. Now, the Mac Mini, I can carry in one hand. Very, very easy to move, easy to set up, stupid easy to set up. The PC is in a ginormous box, and it weighs probably about 40 pounds. And there are so many ports on the back side of that thing. It'll support 4 monitors. What else was back there? I was just plugging stuff in. It just, everything. I don't have to have a hub with the PC. Never have, right? Because they give you that many ports to do everything. And so it was almost comical. The PC is so much easier to set up. It's harder to get from point A to point B because it's heavier. But once you're there, everything just plugs right into the back of it, boop, 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 and you're done. With the Mac, you have to have this hub, and you have to have that hub, and you have to have a cable to connect them, and it is a lot more complicated to make it work the way I need it to work than the PC. But until people come out with programs as good as like Final Cut Pro and Ecamm and Logic Pro for the PC, we're going to be stuck with Mac. And I think Mac knows that. I think Apple knows that. So, but the difference, and I just set everything up in that other room, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So it's not like it's had time to get combobulated, right? I mean, my cable management was spot on. Everything was very nice and neat. And my son called and said, "Hey, I'm on my way over to help you move." And so I look like a mad woman in there, unplugging everything and trying to move the stuff that I could carry and move it in here. So when he got here, all we had to do was move tables and stuff. So, um, but I kept the Mac in one area and the PC in one area, and I still have leftover cables. Not really sure why, but there's that. So something is not plugged in. Roy says Apple has us by the ports. Yes, they do, by the short ports. And Scott's laughing. So yeah, it's I am, but no. So I hate to say it's apples to apples because it's apples to PC, but you get my gist. Uh, 2 monitors on the PC, 2 monitors on the Apple, right? The only thing that I have on the Apple that I don't have on the PC is the camera and the microphone and that sort of thing. But even if I didn't have that plugged in, just the fact that I have 2 monitors, I would have to have a hub for the second monitor. So, yeah. Scott says, Apple didn't have me until today. Yeah, Scott, I got one off their refurbished program. And I've never had a lick of trouble with it. The only thing I noticed is, and I didn't even notice it until I went and did a remote live stream, and I took it with me. I had never used the LAN port in the back. I don't know if it was bad from the get-go, but the night I tried to live stream with it, it didn't work. So the Mac Mini runs off Wi-Fi. The PC's Wi-Fi doesn't work. And so it runs off the LAN connection. So, yeah, it's like they're total opposites. But, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Just enough to confuse me a little bit more. So, surprisingly, I'm getting pretty good at tearing all this down and setting it back up. But I am going to focus probably tomorrow a little bit. I have to work tomorrow night, so a little bit on my cable management because it's bad. It looks very, very bad. Scott says, the Mac Mini has a small HDMI port. Oh, really? A small HDMI port, so I can't use it till I get a cord. Now, my Mac Mini has a standard HDMI, but it only has one. So if you're wanting to run dual monitors, yeah, you can't do it. Roy says, the days of when Apple was open and supportive are like my hair. History. Now, I had not heard that, I thought Apple had pretty good support, but I've never had to use them. So, I don't know. I know by the amount of ports they put on their systems, whether it be a Mac Mini or a laptop, and I'm assuming the Studio and some of the bigger ones are the same way, they are not putting enough ports in to be user-friendly. Roy says, I hate small HDMI ports, should be illegal. Yeah, mine is not a small HDMI. It's a regular, it's just the regular HDMI. So from one monitor plugs directly into the Mac Mini. I'm trying to make sure here. The other one plugs into the OWC port. So it goes from HDMI to Thunderbolt. There's no lag on them though, so they both work just as, one works just as good as the other. So they both come up at the same time. I mean, there might be just a millisecond delay where the one plugged into the Mac Mini is just a blink faster than the other one when it comes up. Now, once they're up and running, there's no... The only thing I've noticed is the screensaver on the PC goes from one monitor in the far left across to the second monitor. So, like, it's bubbles. And the bubbles move from all the way from the left-hand side all the way across to the second monitor to the right-hand side. The Mac, when it does its little screensaver thing, they're independent of each other. So, which is not a big deal because Apple doesn't have bubbles anyway. So it's one of those geometric, I don't know what it does. But it doesn't matter because it's not Now, from what I understand, you can set the monitors to mirror each other, which I don't want, but you cannot set them to be a continuation of each other, which you can on the PC. So, Roy says, warning, warning, Will Robinson. Some cheap HDMI cables are restricted and don't pass through all the color bandwidth. So, just FYI, I use Slyreader, and I've never had a problem with them, and they're not terribly expensive. So, if you're looking to buy new cables, you might check out Slyreader. I'm not even going to tell you how much they are because I don't know. I don't remember. But I think I have every cable known to man. I have ordered a ridiculous amount of cables over the years, and I keep them all just, wound up and tied with those these cute little, Velcro type ties. As you can see, I'm getting ready to do cable management. These are stupid cheap. I think I got these off Temu for like $1 something for 100 of them. They're stupid cheap, but you just put them around the cable, and then I had a bunch of these on my tripods too, with the cables running down to keep everything nice and tight and neat. And then when you're ready to undo something, you just pull it off. And so I was using zip ties. You have to cut those off. So these are so much easier, much more user friendly. Zip ties are a little faster, but if you ever have to move anything, you have to cut everything off, and it's just a mess. So these are so much easier and reusable, and cheaper. So yeah. Scott says, good advice. And Roy is saying, cables need to be labeled. Yes, I pretty much know now based on where it's plugged in. And I know this sounds really stupid, but I can just pick up the cord and tell you what it is too. I've done this so many times. So like the monitor cables. Yep, know which one that is. The Mac Mini has a flat cable. So yeah, it's just, but when I do hook up a second computer, the dummy batteries and, not second computer, second camera, the dummy batteries and the those stinky little itty bitty ports on the cameras, those wires are all the same. So I use green for one and blue for another. And if I have a third, I have red and orange, or red and yellow. So, but yes, if you don't label them, use color code them so they're different colors. Jeff says, I bought a very expensive HDMI and a cheaper HDMI and solar beside my pick it now lighter. I do not see the difference between the two. Okay, and I bought a very expensive HDMI and a cheaper HDMI. And so probably so far beside my pocket being lighter, I do not see the difference between the two. So I did get, I have only bought one cheap cable, and I don't know if it was HDMI or not, but after what I thought was a very short amount of time, the casing started flaking off. So I'm sure it was Chinese or something, but and when I say it was cheap, it was still like $7 or $8. So I mean, but yeah, and that was pretty much the only cheap cable I've ever bought. I usually around $20, depending on the length, and it might be $1 or two cheaper or $1 or two higher or whatever. But usually about $20, give or take. And I probably have, I'm guessing I probably have $700 or $800 invested in cables because I have cables out the wazoo, all different lengths, all different sizes. Um, so yeah, besides my pocket, yes, okay. See, I got it. Besides my pocket, now lighter. I don't see the difference. Yeah. Um, Belkin is probably safe. I think Belkin's okay. Yeah, I think they're same thing as Blue Rigger. So I would go with the Belkin. Roy, do you have a preference? Flaky casing, probably a genuine Apple cable. No, I don't. I don't think it was an Apple, but and I didn't notice it until I went to. I had been using it. I took something apart and was winding the cable up, and it. I don't think it cut my finger, but it hurt. And so then I looked at it and I'm like, what in the chicken? I've never seen one of these do that, right? So rather than try to tape it and fix it, I just tossed it. So I can't say that I've ever seen or paid that close attention to the color from one cable to another. Um, but I just kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of picky about my cables. And so it just works for me. Some people don't want to spend that much on cables, and that's fine, you know. But I would rather buy something once. My problem was every time you set something up different, you have different. You need different links. You need different, you know, the connectors, and so I think I changed cameras around a couple of times, and I don't like to have a lot of excess. Now, I don't like things to be tight, but I don't like to have like huge excess. So when I moved in here, I had to move the router. They put it way up at the front of the house, and I was having trouble picking it up even in the next bedroom, which is more towards the front of the house. So I moved the router to that room, and I had a 75-foot cord, way, way, way too long, right? So I ordered I think it was a 30-foot, and it was perfect. And then when I moved into this room, instead of adding to that and moving the router yet again, I left the router in the middle of the house, and then just ran a LAN cable to the computer. So yeah, I've been drilling holes and moving things. I still have to do my little patch work for the holes. So there's always another day, right? Flaky Casing is my clown name. Yeah, well, people think I'm a little flaky too. Roy says, I test each cable, and if there's a problem, I reinsert them in the supplier. I reinsert them in the supplier. Yes, I know how to read. It's fundamental. Um, so I don't know how would you test a cable other than continuity? Um, Now, you may have a way to test the color saturation, but yeah, I wouldn't know how to test one other than continuity, and almost every cable is gonna show you continuity. So that's not really a very good test. But I mean, it'll tell you if there's a break in the cable, in which case it's not gonna work at all. But it is funny how just moving from one place to another. Now, the Sony ZV-1 has never been unplugged, right? But unplugging it and moving it, and I put everything in camera bags, dedicated camera bags, so everything was protected, right? And somehow, in the move, that connection for the dummy battery uh, got corrupted or something. So it's just not reliable. So I'll get a new one. Roy says, I use a cable tester. Well, of course you do, Roy, because you're the man who has everything. I don't even know what a cable tester is. I have an voltmeter, but I don't know what a cable tester is. So, yeah. And don't even get me started on that because Lord have no, I'd probably have to run out and get one. I'm actually going to try, I'm going to try, okay, to minimize and get rid of a lot of duplicates. So I have way too much stuff and stuff I don't really use. So I'm going to try to get rid of it. I don't know if I can. We'll see. Because there's some stuff that, if you, I don't know, you just always need little odds and ends and stuff. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works. Now, when it comes to clothes, I don't have a problem at all getting rid of stuff, right? That I have, a few favorite things. Everything else can go because I'm always going to buy more clothes. So I have no problem minimalizing the clothing. And that's one reason I haven't moved. That'll be the last thing I probably move. Um, and I don't cook, so I really haven't moved too much of my kitchen either, which I probably need to do that, but I'm off work for 10 days. I can get the rest of the stuff moved and be done with it. But it's funny that the things that I still haven't moved are clothing, kitchen, and there's still some backpacks and stuff down there, so I do need to get that done. It's on my to-do list. Jeff says, I will need to say bye. As always, stay safe and stay awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, Jeff. I think we have gone well over our hour. So, yeah, I probably need to do the same. But I did not have a television in the bedroom for little man when he spent the night last night. So I'm going to make sure that that's hooked up for next week and just keep moving in. It's an ongoing process until you actually are settled, right? So the front room is 100% done. The bathrooms, they're pretty much done. So it's just getting things just so, and everybody has their own just so, but I'm fairly content with this. Um, We'll see. I love these lights. These are I don't, Lewis, if you're still here, these are those Govee lights, which I really like. And then I've got my painter's lights on the floor, but it just kind of gives a little ambiance, I think, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So, but if y'all don't have any objections, I like this setup a lot better than the curtain lights. And the curtain lights are still hanging up in there, by the way, because they act as a nightlight. The little man likes to sleep with a light on, and I cannot sleep with a light on. So um, the TV counts. And so normally I put the TV on for him, and then I can go to sleep, and that counts as a nightlight. He's okay with that. But I didn't have the TV up. So I plugged those curtain lights in, and he loved them. Absolutely loved them, and they didn't bother me. So that was kind of a win-win. But my son helped me hang the TV, and so I'm going to make sure it is plugged in and reading the Wi-Fi and get all that set up before he comes back next week. So, and with this set up, hopefully I can start doing some bag reviews again, because a lot of these bags I have not reviewed. I've carried almost all of them, and some I like and some I'm not so fond of, but that's for another day. So, Scott says, I'm here all week. Yes, you are. And I'm so glad you keep coming back, right? Because you're like the brother from another mother, right? So thank you guys so much for supporting me and always coming in and putting up with week after week of I don't know what I'm doing, right? And just good fellowship. So I really do appreciate all of you. But and Peter will be back, I believe, after Labor Day. So I may take his time spot until he comes back, just because it seems like it's better for you guys. So, and I don't, I'm just sitting here, so I'm not going to be doing anything, so might as well. So, oh, look at all these people sneaking in here right at the 11th hour. There's Miss Pat. Hi, pretty lady. How you doing? Hope you're feeling better and getting stronger. And Randy says, good night, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Cheers. Did y'all remember to do that little thumbs up thing? And Scott's giving me lots of love. Great job. Mr. Camera Junkie saying, yeah. And Scott says 10 would be great. So, like, it's 10:17. So you want me to start at 10 instead of 9? Because I can certainly do that. I'm open. I'll do whatever you guys want, right? So if you want me to start at 10 next week, I will be here at 10. So until then, guys, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And I will see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.